Hello everyone, sorry for the delay, but the delay will be well worth the wait. I'm really pleased to be joined this evening with Bonnie Lloyd, and I've done a little bit of research into what Bonnie does, and also a little bit of research into Feng Shui. But just to begin with, you like to say about your journey into Feng Shui, because I know it also started with energy healing. You have a big fascination with that as well.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah, hello, anyone out there? Thanks for having me, Paul. It's great to be part of this series you're doing.
Thank you.
So yeah, I'm Bonnie Lloyd and I'm a Feng Shui consultant. I think, Paul, you actually say it way better than me. I think I have an Essex twang on it. So I'm going to try and adopt your way of saying Feng Shui. It
All
sounds
right,
much better.
okay, thank you. I was just wondering if I was getting it wrong.
No. Yeah, so I was sort of a few years ago, kind of 2013 I had was the sort of start of my journey into it, really. That's how I see it. So I had a kind of a period of ill health myself, and it sort of, I won't go into the whole thing, but it put me on to a journey of exploring holistic therapies and alternative stuff, and which just opened my mind to a whole kind of other way of life and other dimensions to life, just in terms of that we're not just a physical body. There's so much more to us, and really the world of energy, and it just was sort of light bulb moments for me. It just kind of like almost thankful that I'd had this ill health, because I don't think I would have found all this wonderful amazing stuff without going through that myself. So I think it was still just sort of part of my journey, really. And so yeah, part of that, I did a course in holistic well-being, which sort of covered lots of different sort of parts of it. And then I really sort of fell in love with the energy side of things initially with the body, the energy of the body, and I had some Reiki sessions myself, and then I wanted to, just loved it, and loved the fact that you can actually do Reiki on yourself as well if you do the Reiki level 1. So I went on and did that, and then Reiki level 2, became a practitioner, and I did that for a while, and I am still a Reiki practitioner, but I then had another kind of moved on with my journey. I did some crystal healing as well, and did a course with that, and other, just sort of threw myself into doing lots of different things, and just didn't want to stop exploring everything. And then I've always sort of, alongside that, since I was a child, I've always sort of moved my bedroom around and wanted to kind of move furniture, and so it doesn't feel right, so move it again, and sort of loved interiors, and done a bit of an sort of introduction interior design course in the past as well. And I suddenly realized that Feng Shui is the energy of the home, and it just kind of I just knew that I wanted to go and study that. And so I went and I found a 12-month course, which was specifically to become a consultant, rather than just doing a workshop or something. I just knew I wanted to throw myself into it. I did get put off a couple of times, having read some books on it, because it looked quite complicated, and I thought, oh no, I can't, maybe it's not quite what I think it is, and it put me off for a while. But I just kept thinking about it and coming back to it. So yeah, found a course, and did it, and it was one of the hardest things I've done. It really sort of got, my brain hurt through most of it, because it is complicated. There's lots of different methods, until about sort of 9 months through the 12-month course, I was just completely like, no idea what's going on here, but kept on with it, persevered, and actually everybody on the course was in the same position, so we sort of spurred each other on. And then it suddenly all came together, and realized how all the different methods with it do all make sense and come together. And then I launched myself as a consultant, having passed the exams and the case studies, and I love it. That's just sort of now continuing on my journey, and it's one of those things where you just keep learning through life. I think I could never say that I know everything about it, but I'm loving kind of helping people now by sharing it with others. So
brilliant. I just want to say hello to a few people: Pat, Moira, Tracy, Barry, Will, Bose, Lana, Lydia. I want to say thank you to everyone that's watching right now. So I know, Bonnie, that you do Feng Shui for businesses as well as the home, because most people think of the right energy in the home. Whether it's business, and you might find them different on both levels, but when you go to see people, what are the common mistakes that people have for their energy in, say, for their home, and is it different in businesses?
good question. Yeah, I think people don't realize how much there is to Feng Shui. So that's usually the first thing they kind of think it's going to help them with. They might come to me with a specific query, or can it help with this, or I'm having this problem, or I want to just my home just doesn't feel right, and it's that through doing a consultation with people, it's always like so much more than people realize, and there's so many. It can just have an impact on all areas of life, really. And obviously bringing in the different methods depending on the situation, but I mean there's some key things. Like, one thing I find a lot, just to give a sort of a specific example, if people have like a desk or a working from home situation, it seems to be kind of a thing that we feel we need to put the desk up against a wall, and so we're sort of sitting facing a wall, because I guess it makes sense to sort of get the furniture into the sides of the room and into the corners and things, so it's not like in the middle of the room. But actually it's I find that's one of the biggest impacts that people find. If you actually turn the desk round and have the solid wall behind you, that's really protective for the energy of your body and mind, and have open space in front of you, so you can still be sort of tucked to one side of the room. You don't have to be plonked right in the middle. But yeah, it's it's called the form school method, and it's the fun. It's like it was the first method of Feng Shui. Have protection behind you with a solid wall or solid piece of furniture, open space in front, because that's your vision to the future. And obviously if you're working or with your business or whatever you're doing at your desk, creates clarity for you and vision ahead. And it just sounds really simple, but it can really make a big difference to how people, productivity and creativity, and just feeling sort of right in your body as you're working.
Fantastic. We've got a question here. I just want to thank Lydia, who's been sharing this out. If it doesn't work on your group, Lydia, you could try going to my Paul God NLP and hypnotherapy there. You might be able to share out the YouTube link to your group, but I really do appreciate it. I want to also say hello to Lee, Barry and Annette. So thank you for watching. I have a question here from Pat. Do you have to completely realign everything to make a difference to the energy in your home, or can you just change a few things? Which is a great question there, Pat. Thank you.
Yeah, it is. No, you don't have to change everything. It's quite often, I work with the priorities of a client. So say if you were if the relationships in your life weren't particularly going as you want them to be, whether that's with a partner or children or family, friends, there's specific areas of the house. We'd look at the Bagua method. I don't know if people have heard of that, but that's where specific, the way I do it, there's two forms of the Bagua, but the sort of more accurate version is to apply the compass, to sort of overlay the compass directions over. It's best if you've got a floor plan. That's how I usually ask clients if they've got a floor plan, and lay the compass directions over that, and then you can kind of see where the southwest is, which is the relationships direction for the house, and so we can then really work with that area to make some changes there. And usually there's sort of 2 or 3 priorities that people have in their life that they would like to make positive change to, and yeah, that becomes the priorities that we would do. So it doesn't have to be sort of, because it can be quite daunting suddenly, obviously, you've got to change everything, and but often there's certain things, say for example, if you've got some clutter kind of going on in a certain area, that very often aligns with where you might be struggling or having a bit of a challenging time in life as well. So just by clearing some clutter and having a tidy up and feeling more organized, you realize that, oh, actually that's, might be the your short-term goals. That's another area of the Bagua. So that might suddenly become clear about what you want to do next, or decisions that you've been trying to make suddenly become clearer. So yes, clutter's a big part of it as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And just want to say, Anne's watching, and Tracy is watching. I just had a question which is about sharing that live so more people can see, from Lydia. She asks, is there any way to make this public? We've got people who would like to watch it, say link expired. Yes, Lydia, what happened is, and thank you very much, there were some technical difficulties. So if you go back into my YouTube live, you should be able to come across the actually going on my live now. So the original link, I'm afraid it has to be a different link now. But if you go into my Facebook, sorry, my YouTube, you'll see the live link there. And also as well, if they go to my personal page, the original one, because of technical difficulties, I put a little live out to say that we weren't going ahead just yet. So I recreated another live. So I hope I made sense there. And thank you. I really appreciate you sharing this out. And Lydia said thank you. Clutter, I want to go back to that because that's such a huge, important one for people. I know that a lot of people, I was heard that under your bed, you're supposed to have good airflow, or at least nothing under your bed. Do you find that you have to deal with what people put under their bed, like the socks, the underwear, the trousers? I must admit, I have. If you ever watch Michael McIntyre, one of my drawers in my bed is the man drawer. If you've ever seen that comedy sketch, I mean, is that a problem for people? If you can explain a bit more about the bed situation, please.
Yeah, it is actually, and I think that's one of the things that you probably hear about with Feng Shui. So yeah, it's just there's not really sort of a specific. I think if you have lots of stuff under your bed, whether it's shoes or clothes or socks or the man drawer, it's just energetically, it's in your energy field while you're sleeping, and obviously you want that to be your most, out of any time of the day, you want that to be your most relaxing and calm, and just sort of zen like time of the day when there's nothing around you that's going to affect your sleep quality, and so just stuff, and particularly underneath you, that's again, it's sort of because like grounding wise, that's it's all linked with being grounded as well. So if you've got stuff underneath you, like underneath your body, then it could just be sort of affecting your energy in a negative way. So it is best to if you have got like a storage drawers under your bed, obviously storage is key for so many people, so it's not always practical to just have completely clear underneath. But if you have got stuff, good storage under your bed, then do still use it if you need to, but have it well organized, and so it doesn't feel like a sort of hindrance to you, or thinking about it all the time. If you think about what's under your bed and it doesn't feel nice to you, then it's not going to be having a positive impact.
Okay, so get rid of the Sony Ericsson from 2002 then, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Pat said here, I've been sleeping really badly at the moment, and we did mention about bedroom, but is there anything else she can do to help with sleeping? And she actually just wrote underneath that one that books are under her bed. I guess it depends on the books. if what sort of energy it gives you. Am I right there?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if they're books that that you find, you know, you enjoy reading, they're sort of I suppose if they're like educational sort of, you know, hardcore kind of like you know, books that are either like for study or any kind of educational stuff, I wouldn't recommend having under your bed. But if they're sort of, you know, meditation books or anything sort of holistic or you know, in the well-being field, then that might not necessarily be you know, a negative thing. Unless you're sort of thinking about that you need to be reading them all and you're not, then, you know, it's very much linked with how you feel about it. There's no kind of hard and fast rules really with most of Feng Shui. It's very much linked with the person. Very much working with the people that live in a home, rather than just applying the rules as such. But there are some key things for the bedroom that can really help. So if you look at the bed positioning, it's best if you can be with your head so that you can see the door, so the door's not behind you, because again, from a protective sort of energetic way, it's if you can't see the door and kind of, you know, symbolically who or physically like who might be coming through the door, then that can just make us feel a bit shifty, like, you know, a bit unprotected. So if you can, have the door so that you can see it, and then also not having your feet facing straight out of the door. People might have heard of that one, but that's would sort of be the least favourable position to be in. If you have to have that, then make sure the door is closed completely when you're sleeping, but avoid that one if you can. And yeah, just things around the bed as well. So try not to have, you know, electronic, or your phone is, you know, it's a bit of a no-no. Don't have your phone under your pillow or next to your bed. If you do use it as an alarm clock, make sure you've got it on airplane mode, and just try and really reduce any you know, EMF producing items. And yeah, you know, instead bring in have a you know, rose quartz crystal, or any crystal that you're naturally drawn to that feels relaxing for you. And a plant in the bedroom as well is really good for cleansing the air, and not too sort of, don't go majorly overboard with plants because they can be energizing as well, but just, you know, one smallish plant near your bed or next to your bed is really, really good for well-being as well.
Thank you. So I've got a couple of more things have come in here. So under Pat's bed is lots of spiritual books and tarot cards. So it might not be so bad as you were saying, as long as you're not thinking about it all the time. Lydia says, I always sleep with my phone on charge under my pillow. I've known quite a few people to do that. So for you, is that a big no-no?
Yes, I mean, as I was saying before, that I don't like to sort of tell people off or anything, but yeah, I think, yeah, I don't feel like it's the best going to give you the best quality of sleep. And yeah, there is some evidence that it's not great for, you know, for our brains as well, I don't think, but, you know, I'm not an expert in that side of things, but yeah, I think it's best to just have, you know, electronics away, or electric things, especially if it's charging as well. It's going to be you know, giving some stuff off that we could probably do without when we're trying to have a good night's sleep.
Absolutely. I've heard Kenny say here, it's more toxic when it's charging. Very true. Earbuds are so bad. Have you heard about that? Earbud, as I say, talking with these in at the moment.
What, as in, yeah, earbuds with the like a iPhone, when you can have calls through.
Yes, so I think that's what you mean. Is that what you mean, Kenny? If you can put the message down afterwards, that'd be good to hear from you. Probably give him a few seconds to message.
Yeah. I mean, actually, I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm sort of, you know any evidence about that. It's kind of not in in what I've looked at. But I suppose it makes sense, doesn't it? And I have actually just got some myself through with my upgraded phone. So I will be looking at that as well, actually.
Yeah, so Kenny's just written here, yeah, earpods, you must put your phone with the Wi-Fi in them. Yeah, the earbuds, yeah, sorry, the earpods, sorry, your ears. So I'm just sort of reading it out again. So yeah, the earpods you put in your phone with the Wi-Fi in them. So I guess it's the Wi-Fi going and everything like that. So,
yes, yeah, it does make sense that it's probably not the best thing for us, is it? Yeah.
No, absolutely. The other question I wanted to say, because you mentioned about air circulating. I heard a lot of people say that it's good to have windows open and getting that air and also getting light into a room. If you live next to a main road and you've got the fumes and stuff like that, what's your advice about that? I mean, you also, I think you mentioned about plants as well, but you can overdo them. So what's a good amount of healthy air coming in, and what's a good amount of healthy plants to make sure people don't go, right, I'm going to put now 20 plants in my room because that's going to really help the air?
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of in the bedroom, the plants, too many plants can be energizing, but in the rest of the house, I'd say go for it, bring in the green. And yeah, it's a tricky one if you do live by a road that is a busy road with lots of traffic, and pollution might be a factor. But I suppose if you're able to open the windows on the side of other sides of the house, that's still going to bring in the airflow, because that is one of the the top tips, really. Get the fresh air flowing through the home. And yeah, even if it's for a few minutes a day, even in the winter it's obviously a bit more tricky, but a lovely cool fresh blast through the air is through the house is, it really sort of perks you up in the morning and starts the day off well, I think, and for the energy of the flow of the home. So yeah, I suppose if you've got a busy road nearby, then just bear it in mind, really, and kind of reduce that from that side of the house that's coming in. But and plants will help to purify the air once they're in as well. You can do sage cleansing. It's a fantastic way of shifting any negative or old energy, stagnant energy. So yeah, I don't know if people have heard of that, but yeah, look up sage smudging. It's really good way. Also in the bedroom as well, if you do it like after you've kind of cleaned the house or had a bit of a tidy up or whatever, doing a sage cleanse as part of the sort of like the last stage of that, really kind of, we sort of clean the surfaces and hoover the floor, but cleansing the energy in the air as well is a really good extra step you can take.
Fantastic. Hello to Anna watching. Does having pets in the house change the energy of it?
Oh, yeah, I think definitely. That's a great question. I've not had that one before. Yeah, I mean, I find that us as humans, that our energy, obviously different humans have different energy. Some people are quite energetic, other people are much calmer. We all have different characters, and that can, I find, we've got a cat and a dog, and they react very differently to different members of the household. So it's quite intriguing, actually. Yeah. So and I suppose I'm thinking about the 5 elements cycle, which is a fundamental method of Feng Shui that sort of it applies to people in the house as well as the actual home itself. So it links with colours and shapes and materials. So the 5 elements are earth, metal, water, wood, and fire. And based on our date of birth as people, we are one of those 5 elements, and it's a really fascinating sort of insight into our characters, because each of the 5 elements sort of present in general terms as different types of people. So a fire person is usually quite energetic, personable, sort of, it can be a fiery temperament as well. Whereas like an earth person is usually much calmer, kind of more grounded, but can be a bit stubborn as well. You know, we all have the light and the dark side of them. And so animals also have animals that, like, so dogs are earth animals. So like if you have a fire person and a earth dog, then they're gonna interact with each other in certain ways, because fire energizes earth, earth calms fire. So there's so many sort of different interactions that go on between people and animals as well. So like horses, for example, I don't know if many people have got a horse in their house, but their horses are very strong fire energy. And so often you find that people who are kind of maybe trying to sort of explain it in a way that might make any sense, but everybody is one of the 5 elements as a person, but we also have parts of, you know, we're not just one thing, we have parts of the other elements within us as well. And so often people who are really drawn to horses, or, you know, own horses or love horse riding, they're either that's their sort of energizing element, and so having horses around, they love it because it's giving them energy, or it's sort of something that's lacking in their makeup with the 5 elements. And so, you know, being around horses adds that in, and so it's without them realizing, obviously, that unless they know about Feng Shui, it's it's kind of completing them or giving them something extra in life. So it's fascinating looking at animals as well.
Brilliant. I've got a couple of questions from Lydia, and also, so I'm going to do one from Lydia, then Pat's question here, then back to Lydia's one again. You mentioned about sage, smudging, and a little bit about plants, but Lydia was asking what sort of plants do I need?
So peace lilies are really good, lovely energy. They've got lovely sort of, you know, big leaves that give off lots of purifying energy. There's money plants, which are probably the most, you know, linked plant with Feng Shui. So and there's different types of money plants as well. If you kind of look it up online and look for images of them, you'll see they do cover. There's a few different types of money plants, and if you put a money plant in the southeast of your home, that's the wealth and abundance area of the home. So that can, you know, symbolically and energetically bring some lovely abundance for you. Also, just while I'm thinking of the southeast, it's also a really lovely thing to have a flowing, like, indoor water feature there, because again, that really sort of gets the energy flowing. It's the air interacting with the water as part of the water fountain. Get the fresh air coming through it as well, and the plants nearby. It's going to be a really lovely combination, and it sort of spreads through the home then as well. What other plants? There's so aloe vera is a lovely one as well. I mean, any plants have, you know, just are great. So I'd say go with what you're drawn to in terms of the shape of the plant, and the and also, you know, if you're good with plants, or if you're not, then maybe go for the easy caring versions than something that's gonna just kind of dwindle away. But I'd say those are the ones that come to mind: the peace lily, money plants. One of them is pilia. That's one of the money type plants, and aloe vera.
Perfect. So hello to you, Yolanda, Lisa, Joyce. Thank you for joining. Give you a wave back. I've lost the comments now. They're back again. That's good. So Pat says about singing bowls are good to change the energy in the home. Do you ever recommend that to your clients, to get singing bowls in?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Either singing bowls or tincture bells, Tibetan bells. I've actually got my bells here. In case people don't know, I'll hold them up if that's gonna.
Yeah, lovely. Please do.
Try not to ding it, because it might deafen everyone. But yeah, these are my
earbud warning.
tincture bells. Yes, these are fantastic at shifting the energy. If your home feels a bit stagnant, and or you feel a bit stagnant, like you can't get going, you can't get motivated, singing bowl or tincture bells or any kind of bell or sort of vibrating sound. It's the vibration that happens, you know, the ongoing sound from the bell, that type of sound, rather than just, you know, the kind of the one hit like bell. So yeah, it really kind of helps to shift basically the sound vibes, sound waves, that's the word, goes through the air and really helps to shift it, and has a big impact actually. So I usually do that for clients. I do sage smudging, and then go around with I love the tincture bells because they're just easy to, you know, dong and like walk around and have fun with. So singing bowls are brilliant as well. For some reason I'm not can't seem to get the knack of them. So but if you've got one and you can use it, then definitely go for it.
Brilliant. I've got Yolanda's asked a question which I will get back to you shortly, Yolanda. And Lydia has a question here. She said, might sound random, but wax melds and things, but is wax meld and things good for your home? I know sometimes they give me headaches, so not sure if it's something which should be done. So wax melds.
Wax melts, was it?
Sorry, I'm just trying to see. Melts. Sorry, I said melds, didn't I? That's my dyslexia coming out. So yeah, wax. Yeah, wax melts.
I think, is that the one with sort of essential oils and things that you melt down and then they give off a lovely smell?
That's what I'm thinking. If you can just give a little thumb up or a yes to that, Lydia, that'd be good. But if it is, that's what we're thinking. Yeah. So what was your?
Yeah, it's interesting. If you're getting headaches, maybe. Yeah, very much. I think would depend on the if it's an essential oil or what it's actually made of, because I think you can get the different types. So maybe it's the actual particular type of oil that's in it that might be, you know, affecting the headaches. So yeah, that's more sort of along the aromatherapy lines, I think, because obviously there's so many different aromatherapy oils, and people, you know, need different ones depending on there's energizing ones and calming ones, aren't there, and all sorts of wonderful things that can be done. So yeah, I can't, I'm not an expert in that, but you know, in theory they're a lovely thing to have in the home, and there's nothing, you know, I'd recommend things like that. But at the same time, if you're having headaches, then maybe not the right type for you.
Absolutely. Now, Yolanda's question, by a folks, it's basically FAUX plant. FAUX, how do you even pronounce that?
Oh, faux, yeah.
Faux plants,
like
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, I have to be careful.
Yeah.
I said that one then. Plant. I like lots of greenery. They bring me lots of happiness. Even through the plant may not have any feng shui goodness. Does it do good, as they make me happy? Well, I don't have an answer to that, but what would you say to that? Would you say they're good?
Oh, absolutely. If it makes you happy, yeah. I mean, you know, I would say that real plants have obviously the extra benefits of like purifying the air and yeah, you know, giving off the oxygen. But it might be that if you love that sort of feeling of bringing nature in, but not wanting to actually, you know, have to look after, keep the plants alive. But I've got a couple of faux plants, but I sort of I got real ones as well. So and they do have different sort of feelings for me. So, you know, energetically. But I'd say if it's making you happy, then definitely, because it might be the actual green, the colour is, as I was talking about the 5 elements before, it might be that green, which is a wood colour, which, you know, makes sense. It's that might be something that you know, energizes you or calms you. Either way, you know, it's a beneficial element for you, being the colour itself. So I don't know if it'd be interesting if it links with what you like to wear as well. If you like green to wear, or in your decor around your home, it'd be interesting to know that. But you know, definitely, just keep the faux plants if they make you happy.
So laugh out loud. Yes, you're right. I'm not a very good plant nurse. So, well, it depends what it is. For myself, poinsettias, they always just go, before Christmas is even here, I find, when you have those in the house. Hello to Irene, who's watching. They sometimes do lavender ones. Oh, this is essential oils because yes, she's talking about. So going back on it, yes, it's essential oil. The wax melts, lavender ones, and they say it helps relax. It will help relax you in bed, but don't see how they can if people get headaches and things. So as Bonnie was saying, it might be to take up some of the other advice that you give. So anything else you want to add to headaches with room positioning of various items or clutter and things?
Yeah, there's other things you can sort of look at with the room. So if you've got, particularly with things like headaches, if you've got a beam or this kind of the shape of the ceiling above where you're sleeping, is got a beam or some kind of shape to it, where there's if you think about it from the air moving across the room, if it sort of hits a part of the ceiling that comes down, that's going to direct the air to then go straight downwards. And so where that kind of right angle is, and it's then if the flow of the air is directed downwards, where that then hits your body, if that's your head area, then it can have a real sort of detrimental effect. It can see sort of headaches happening. Or if it's a bit lower down, if you've got a beam going across the ceiling that's more in line with your stomach, and can get some the sort of stomach issues or going on. So it's this doesn't always happen, but it can be. If people are having these experiences, then that would be something that I'd look at within the room. Yeah.
Fantastic. Moira asks, what about pieces of art, sculpture, etc.? So that's a good question. And also, she doesn't put it down, but where to put them as well.
Yeah. So with art, I suppose, it depends on the room and how you want to the ambience and the environment that you want to create around you. So if it's the bedroom, I'd recommend having, obviously it's very personal choice, but having something that's more calming for you, rather than say a big crashing waterfall like that you're looking at from your bed. That might be quite energizing or exhilarating. Probably not ideal for when you're trying to relax. And things like one thing that springs to mind is with relationships. If you're in a partner relationship and you obviously want to sort of give that the most positive energy you can, with artwork, it can be really something that I see quite often, and this can be anywhere in the house. I mean, the southwest is the key kind of, the most powerful relationships energy. But if you've got like, say you've got two animals, say two birds, quite often birds are in artwork, and if they're kind of sitting together on a twig, or they're sort of looking friendly towards each other, that's lovely. That's really going to kind of emphasize some good partner energy. Whereas if you've got a painting of two elephants that are walking in opposite directions, or there's some sort of like aggression or something not so friendly going on, then that can symbolically represent what might be going on in real life as well. It's quite, it probably sounds bonkers to some people, but it really does show. I've had many people who have got certain things that it really kind of represents what's going on in life. So
absolutely. One of the things that I'll pick up on, my grandparents, when they're both alive, they had two pictures of themselves when they were younger, but they set it up on their wall, and one was facing that way and the other one was facing that way, and it kind of looked like we were having an argument. So I went and twisted them round. But if somebody does do something like that, I mean, can it affect the energy if you've got like two portraits of two mad people completely looking the opposite way, I mean, can it affect their energies?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yes, yeah. I'd definitely say you did the right thing putting them around the other way.
Brilliant.
Yeah, yeah. It's really interesting to go around and look at your house in that kind of, with that hat on, you know, thinking about the energy flow, and also symbolically what things are, you know, what you've got around, and just looking at the symbolic meaning of things and what's going on in your life as well.
Absolutely. I'm getting lots of questions through here, so I do hope I get chance to ask Bonnie every single one of yours. We have Kenny talking about frequencies, and does that relate to Feng Shui frequencies in rooms? That was not his specific question, but he's talking about frequencies. I'm going to ask you about frequencies and Feng Shui.
Frequencies as in
Sound frequencies, or even
yeah.
things like I guess Wi-Fi frequencies, etc.
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so sound like, you know, frequencies in terms of like from the television and the radio, that's all seen as water energy, because it's similar to water waves. It's sound waves of moving through the air, so it's a water element. And so quite often, you know, if it's like a music system and you love playing music, then that's probably something that's like adding to your 5 elements cycle, and creating a really sort of harmonious environment for you, having the you know, the sound waves coming through the air, and that water energy happening for you. Obviously with frequencies in terms of Wi-Fi and EMF, I can never remember what it stands for, but is it electromagnetic frequencies?
Yeah.
Something like that. So yeah, it's something that concerns me, actually. And I sort of, I'm not an expert in that myself, but it obviously does link with Feng Shui, and I'd say just be aware of it. You know, we all have things in our homes, and Wi-Fi is fantastic, but it's also, I think, something to just be aware of, and try to not have things, you know, really close to you in the areas where you're relaxing, either, you know, spending time watching TV or in the bedroom. But you know, we can't avoid it, I don't think. But it's it's just something to be aware of, and try not to have overload of it around you.
Absolutely. Just answering Yolanda's question here, whether they weren't bothered or did they not notice. I just think they liked the two photos themselves and thought, wouldn't it be nice to have it up? I don't think they were particularly thinking of how it was positioned there, Yolanda. So I'm going to say Irene, and then Anna's got a question then afterwards. Also, make sure you've got time to mention yourself and how people can get in contact with you as well, Bonnie. But she says, depends on what they're talking about spirits in rooms here, and talking about salt pyramids in the house, and it's good for in the entrance and keep the house protected. But she also gets headaches from certain spirits and negative ones in the house. So I don't know if you know much about salt pyramids, but also as well I want to talk about what to put in the entrance of your house when people first walk through their door. One, if you heard about these pyramids, and if not, you know, what is good to put right in your main entrance of your building when you go in. And there might be some business people watching as well, because I've got a few business people that do watch these. So what's good for your business area when you walk in?
Salt pyramids I've heard of, but I don't know exactly. It's not something that I've... Oh, sorry, my cat's just jumped on my desk. Talking about animals, let's move that over a bit. So I mean, salt lamps. Do you know, Paul? Is it similar to salt lamps?
It must be salt pyramid lamps. If you can just make a bit more thing on that, but it could be salt lamps as well. But salt pyramids is what's mentioned. That's something I'm going to be googling, because that's new to me, Irene.
Yes.
So I'll be definitely looking at that. Yeah.
No. Because salt lamps, if it's similar or the same as that, but obviously pyramid shaped, which sounds wonderful. Yeah, they're a lovely thing to have around, because they again, they're really good for sort of purifying the air, and just, I just love the warm glow that they give off. It's that real kind of yin, because yin and yang is a big part of Feng Shui. Yeah, that really lovely warm yin energy, and so yeah, that's a great thing to have in the hallway or the lounge or bedroom, anywhere really. I've got a couple of them.
I've still got my chair's covering it up. Can you? There you go. Can just about see
yes,
the top of mine.
yeah.
That's the Eastbourne, and I moved everything round, and I was hoping to get in the background. You can see my bubble lamp, but I've got my
I
lamp
remember
going.
seeing it on one of your other interviews. Yeah. Yeah, and actually, I mean, I don't really work with spirits, although I appreciate it's linked with Feng Shui, but so I don't know the answer to that question, I'm afraid, with whether the salt pyramids and the spirits is, that's not something I know about. But yeah, in terms of the entranceway generally, so I'd say the sort of top tips is to don't have kind of any blocks, so have it as a really sort of easy entranceway. You can open the door back fully, you don't have sort of stuff crammed behind the door, so that it makes it difficult to get in your front door. Obviously, it's both ways actually, inside the door and when you're going out as well. You want it to be a lovely sort of, that's your going. The front of the house is sort of the future and your vision to life. So in terms of windows and doors, you want them to be like windows, nice and clean, and so that you can see out clearly. That's sort of symbolically into the future and clarity about life. And yeah, the hallway, I think just have it as a so you feel good, it feels a lovely homely place, whatever that means for you. Whether it's kind of, whether you love it being vibrant and bright colors, if that sort of makes you happy as your first point into the house, or if you like it to be more sort of zen and yin energy and calming, then just go with your gut instinct with that. But yeah, just obviously storage is key to get the shoes and the coats away. I'm sort of giggling to myself inside because my hallway is not any of the above at the moment, because we've had the builders in, and there is like boxes behind my front door, and it's all wrong. So yeah, definitely needs sorting out, but I'm not practicing what I preach with this.
Well, that certainly happens when you get builders. I mean, it turns everything upside down, absolutely. But is there anything you can do if the doorway is blocked at the moment because you're in a circumstance which is just life happens, to counteract that by putting anything else in the room or nearby?
Yeah, I think just we can't always we have to work with the space in our houses, and not all of us have the luxury of having it exactly as we want to. We do need to store things in places and have different things there. So just I think just do what you can. But I think that, one of the other things with hallways is that if you've got like a long straight sort of hallway leading into your home, or anywhere in your house really, like a long kind of corridor sort of situation, that can make the energy move sort of too fast really in towards in each direction. But say if it's in the hallway, the front door opens and there's a sort of a fast rush of energy comes straight through. If it goes straight through to the back of the house, then the energy is all just going straight out the back. So you want something you can do is hang like a wind chime, or like a pendant of some sort, or a lovely light from the ceiling, so that again, as you're thinking about the energy flowing through, it has to kind of go round something, rather than it just stops it energetically and sort of symbolically from rushing straight through. Because in the home we don't want fast energy really, we want it to kind of meander around and settle for us. Yeah, and also that applies to a straight path out the front of the house as well. it's if you have got a straight path, again, the energy can flow too quickly at the house. So if you've got that situation, maybe put a couple of plant pots so that, again, the air has to kind of wind its way around them, or something like rocks, like create a rockery type thing, just so that it's not quite such a straight flow of air.
Perfect. I will ask Anna's question because it's quite important, but I think it'd be an ideal time now for you to give out some details of how people can get in contact with you if they want to take up and add more feng shui in their life and speak to an expert about yourself about it. And also as well, do you do over the phone or Skype or Zoom sessions with people? Because I've got people watching from all over the country at the moment, which is nice.
Okay. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, so I've got my website, which is bonnielloyd.com. It's quite simple. And I've got my Facebook page, which is Bonnie Lloyd Feng Shui, and also the same on Instagram. I do admit that I'm not particularly good at being consistently active on the social platforms. Something that I would like to work on, but yeah, I'm there, I'm present, and obviously my contact details are on the website as well. Excuse the cat. And yeah, so I have done, obviously I'm always very happy to speak to people on the phone, and chat through things. I always generally sort of do that as part of the first step of a consultation anyway, just to see if it aligns with what they would like to achieve, and if I feel like I can help before they commit to anything. And yeah, I'd be really happy to do a Zoom or any sort of platform online consultation too. It's not quite the same as being in the home, but it's definitely doable. If they've got the video and video link and can kind of show me around a bit, maybe on a mobile phone's always good for that, or a smaller a tablet or something. So yeah, it's I'm very open to whatever works for people.
Wonderful. Yolanda's got to go now, so we are coming towards the end because it's about an hour program, but she's just sort of saying sorry to go for now, but thoroughly enjoyed what she's heard. Many thanks for tonight, so thank you, Yolanda. I want to come to Anna's question now, and how can I separate work from sleep when my desk is right next to my bed and I work at night times? Because she does phone calls, part of her work, so
Okay.
the work is set up in the room, so obviously you're going to have your work and your bed a few feet away from each other.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it is a tricky one, but there's definitely things you can do. I'd say just try to zone the two areas. So even if it is very close, you can kind of create your kind of work zone, and then if you can have some kind of a screen, or have like a nice decorative screen that you like, or a more practical one, but just something that, so when you're in bed you can't visually see your computer or your work desk or your paperwork, and if possible, have it so that you can put your papers or your laptop away in a drawer or a cupboard or somewhere, so that it's just kind of then becomes the bedroom for nighttime. Yeah, so I think that visual sort of thing is quite key. Or even if you can kind of store your papers outside of the room, and just use the desk for actually working if you don't have an alternative. But that's a real situation that lots of people have, a desk in the bedroom. So yeah, it's just trying to sort of zone it, I think. So have your bed zone and then your desk zone, and try to have some kind of visual separation with a screen or a curtain, whatever works in your space.
Absolutely fantastic. So another question I wanted to ask now, I know a lot of people and Feng Shui that I've done my bit of research at the moment say that it's bad to have shoes on in the house, and it's best to separate it. And then we mentioned a little bit about clutter, so I guess find a good space for them rather than just shoes all piled up. For me though, I find that I don't wear shoes around the house, but when I'm doing my coaching, I kind of dress smart casual, and I kind of feel more sort of grounded and more in the zone for coaching a client with wearing shoes. But for the energy of the room, what would you say to that? Because I've got my shoes on at this very moment.
Yeah, I think it's how you feel, really. I mean, if that's your work situation, and that helps you to, feel professional and grounded, and that feels right for you, then that's what I would go with. Whereas I suppose if you were doing a qigong, or like a walk in, if you've got an opportunity, I suppose if you have your shoes on most of the time for work, then it could be really good to in your breaks, or after or before work, to get your feet sort of connected with nature, and take them off and sort of do some grounding meditation type stuff then, or just walk on the grass with bare feet, or whatever you're drawn to. But so I mean, it's always beneficial to be connected, your feet with the raw ground, or the sand, or the grass, or whatever you've got available to you. But yeah, in terms of working, if that's how you feel comfortable, I can understand that.
Fantastic. I just want to say hi to, I think it's Sandra, Chris, Lex, see who other names are popping up. Al, hi to you. I think I've said Jackie, Jade, Paul, Amanda and Jan. So thank you for watching at the moment. So we're coming to the end of the hour, and it's gone so quickly, and really thank you for your time this evening. Is there anything that I haven't asked you that you feel is really important about Feng Shui that people can add into their life? So if there's one small thing that you can start with right now, what would that be as well?
I feel like just the simplicity of it, just sort of stripping it back to actually what we already, what you mentioned, Paul, with the opening the windows, getting the fresh air in, and seeing if you can have a bit of a decluttering session, have a bit of a go with some sound cleansing, like we were saying, with the singing bowls and the or Tibetan tincture bells. If you can get hold of some of those, then they're fantastic, or the singing bowl. There is there's one thing I haven't mentioned that people may have heard of, but it's really good tip to with the loo. So when you flush the loo, make sure you put the loo lid down, because if you don't do that, it's sort of like it's connected with wealth and abundance. So it's sort of like you're flushing the wealth away down the loo. And also linked with that, if you've got any dripping taps or leaks going on, that's like water leaking is linked with wealth, and it doesn't have to be financial wealth, but just like prosperity and abundance, and how you see that can be having a kind of draining effect on that. So make sure you sort of sorting out any things like that straight away, and anything that's broken as well, that could be having also a bit of a niggling effect on certain aspects of life. So yeah, I think just keep it simple to start with, and obviously, if anyone wants to contact me with more questions, then very happy to help.
Absolutely. And do you want to just say your web details again and social media, so that people can now have an opportunity to grab pen and paper or type it into their phones, or create another tab on the computer? So if you give that again, that would be amazing, please.
Yeah, so my website is bonnielloyd.com. So it's BONNIELLOYD.com.
Fantastic. And I'll also link, because in the original video I linked in your details, but I make sure that your details are linked into this video as well, so people can get hold of you as well.
Great.
I'd like to say thank you to Bonnie. I've really enjoyed tonight, and thank you for your time. I'd like to thank every single person. There's Sharon, I don't know if I mentioned you watching. Everyone that's been watching tonight, thank you for your time. And if you have any questions to Bonnie, then her details are out there. Do ask her about that if you're interested in having her services. Thanks so much again for tonight, Bonnie. You want just to stay on just 2 or 3 minutes after this live, just so we can sort of say goodbye properly, rather than just like, right, that's it, bye then.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me, Paul, and thanks for everyone's questions. Really enjoyed it.
Fantastic. Thank you, everyone. Bye now. See you again soon.